Hello, healthy friends. This is Terry with your astrology report for the solar eclipse in Gemini. And we just had that really powerful supermoon Sagittarius lunar eclipse, as I talked about in my last report. And I'm just wondering, how are you doing? Whew. A lot of intense energies coming up with that one. A lot of letting go of whatever no longer serves you. There were so many endings and some abrupt endings and loss. And if you lost anything, just know that that was making way for something even better to come into your life now. With this new moon Gemini solar eclipse that's happening on June 10th, and this is a kind of rebirth. This is the, starting all over again. New inspirations, new intentions, and all of the new things that are happening are really going to begin within, because it all begins within, as I will be talking about again. This is similar to what we were talking about last month, but we're really in a more internal time of making big changes that start with changing our inside out. We're changing inside out as we have 5 planets going retrograde in this month of June, and I'll talk about the retrogrades later. But this Gemini energy is a very mental energy. We are all up in our minds and thinking about things, and Gemini is all about communication. Although we've got Mercury going retrograde in Gemini, that's gonna, make communication a little difficult. So maybe just writing. This is a great time for creative writing and scripting, writing down your goals, writing, absolutely beautiful to-do lists and transcendental to-do lists. Like, what do you really want to do? Not just grocery shopping. This is the big stuff. And I plan to spend this Gemini energy doing more journaling and writing than being outward, because there's a lot of division going on outward and the communication is not great. Get off social media. That we've already got so much information coming into our beautiful minds, and this month we're going to really want to keep our minds clear so that we can receive more of the divine messages that are coming in at this time, rather than all the squawking that's going on social media. So I plan to take a social media diet for the month of June and just use that time, that wasted energy, and devote it on myself and getting into writing, because I'm writing a Reiki book, and it is just so many downloads, and I'm just receiving so many messages that want to come through, and I just need to turn off all that social media so I can be present and here. And I've also been writing tons of astrology charts. So many of you guys have ordered astrology charts. I'm about 6 to 8 weeks booked out right now with astrology charts, and I'm seeing that people are going through profound transformations this summer, and it's just going to keep on going. We're on a crazy roller coaster ride this summer of forward, backwards, forward. Have you ever been on a roller coaster ride where it starts to go and then it lunges you back? It's going to be a rocky road, and be careful of your neck, because it could get whiplash with all the forward, backward motion we'll feel this June as you start to lunge forward. And then the retrogrades will pull you back. It's going to be an exhausting June. And some of that exhaustion is just that we're so up in our heads with this Gemini energy. And I call it yang rising, when all the energy is going upwards towards your head. If you've heard of yin and yang, which is like the duality, yin is calm, yang is a lot of high energy, and the yang high energy is rising this month as the season turns to summer, and we can have just so much hot creative yang energy rising up to our head. It could cause a headache. So a lot of people may be experiencing headache, neck tension, and all this tension, jaw tension rising up. And something that you can do for this yang rising energy is to just go out into nature. I'm here at this beautiful lake, and just take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass. Or if you're lucky enough to live near a beach, put your feet into that warm sand and just do some earthing, just bringing that energy back down. Because otherwise we're just so up in our heads, and we've got to get that energy moving back down. And you can also, if you're just at home, you could do a hot foot bath and then hold a hot cup of tea in your hands, and that would just bring that energy back into your extremities and out of your head. People are going to be out of their heads this month too. And I also recommend trying to move the energy from your head to your heart, because actually the heart is a much more powerful organ than the head. And so sometimes when we have all this Gemini and intense Mercury happening, we get so up in our heads and we think we know everything, we think we're right, we get into squabbles with people, and we just got to bring that energy back down to the heart, because the heart has more electromagnetic energy, and it turns out the heart is smarter than the brain. So if you think you know everything, ask your heart. Your heart knows. If you're looking for answers, tap into the heart, not the brain. And doing some real, I keep saying it, but it's really this theme of the year is to do that heart coherence meditation and the heart math, and just tuning in to your heart chakra and doing maybe some self-Reiki or energy work where you just, place your hand on your heart and your abdomen and just tune in to that heart. The heart is calling you to come out of your mind, and the mind is just full of a lot of information that's coming in right now, but the heart knows, so go there. And let's talk about those 5 retrograde major planets going retrograde in the month of June, and why maybe you don't want to travel this month. It's so funny that all the planets are going retrograde and everybody's going out to travel, and I personally won't be traveling until after June 22nd when Mercury goes direct, because if you are traveling, make sure you pack your patience. It's going to be a wild ride to be out there on the roads or in the airways during 5 planets retrograde. We have Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter is going retrograde on June 20th, right before the solar summer not the eclipse, right, that's what this report is, right before the summer solstice. Jupiter goes retrograde, and then we have Neptune going retrograde on June 25th. So the whole month of June, it's like we're going backwards, and this is a time for internal, going inward. We have Pluto in Capricorn retrograde, and that is asking us to go into our subconscious. This is a wonderful time for reprogramming your subconscious mind. 90% of our actions are related to what our subconscious mind thinks we should be doing. So it's really good to harness the power of that subconscious mind and change your inner dialogue and what your subconscious beliefs are. And the best way you can do that is hypnosis. I really highly recommend doing some deep hypnosis this month. And that Pluto is really drawing us into the underworld. And so if you're having trouble focusing at work, well, no wonder Pluto's saying, let's go deep, let's go into the underworld, let's go see other realms. It's very mystical. And then we have Mercury retrograde. Everybody knows about Mercury retrograde, and this is in Gemini. And this Mercury retrograde, Mercury is moving even slower than normal. So it just stationed direct, and in Gemini, Mercury retrograde is going to cause lots of communication breakdowns. It's going to be really hard to get your point across. So, I would not want to be doing any kind of public speaking during this Mercury retrograde, and maybe even your communications with friends and coworkers and relationships are just all askewed, where you're saying one thing and they're hearing something else, and we're going to have a lot of that. So I'm just going to be writing things down. Get it in writing. Don't go into a contract with somebody, a verbal contract, during this Mercury retrograde. You're going to want it all in black and white, and dot your I's and cross your T's and read the contract carefully. In fact, I wouldn't even sign a contract between now and June 22nd, because the chance that you didn't read the fine print is so likely with this Mercury retrograde in particular. And we might see some internet issues and radio and TV just having little glitches, because that's all communication too. So just be aware of that. Mercury retrograde goes till June 22nd. And then we have Saturn retrograde. And Saturn is the Lord of Karma. And when he goes retrograde, he's going back to either give rewards for the good deeds you've done, or give punishment for the bad things, crimes that people have committed. So it's kind of like Santa Claus's naughty and nice list, and Saturn is coming, and you better be nice, because you don't want to be on the naughty list when Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius. And of course, Aquarius, it's all about community and relationships. And so when Saturn goes backwards in a sign of relationships, we can have a lot of past relationships coming back. Maybe you are getting back together with somebody from your past this month, or even past life relationships. You might meet somebody and feel like, oh my gosh, I've known you all my life. And you probably have, because we'll have a lot of opportunity to reconnect with people that we've known from a past life. So that will be really interesting. And just even past life dreams can come with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So you may be having a lot of crazy dreams that seem otherworldly, and maybe even having phantom pains or injuries that are related to a past life regression. And if you are interested in past life regression work, this would be a really potent time to delve into that. And then we have Jupiter in Pisces, which is going retrograde on June 25th. And I'm really sad about that, because this Jupiter in Pisces has just been so good. For those of us, I'm a Scorpio. If you're a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Jupiter has really been showering the gifts. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, it's just not as powerful. And Jupiter in Pisces is still a really good time to tap into your intuition and your inner knowing. When you're making a decision, just go deep, go within. Don't listen to all the external. Listen to the internal. Pisces, Jupiter is really giving you messages. If you just take some time, maybe go out in nature, maybe do a meditation to really listen to what your inner knowing is about. And then we have Neptune. Neptune also in Pisces, which is so intuitive. Neptune has been in Pisces for quite a while, and this is a real psychic vibration. And now Neptune goes retrograde. And when Neptune is retrograde, we get confusion and illusion. And boy, I think we are already seeing that. It's really hard to know what is going on right now and what is the truth. And it's all like we're in a house of mirrors, and nothing is what it appears to be, and nothing looks quite right. And it could just make you get vertigo and dizzy. And I think the only good that could come of this Neptune in Pisces going retrograde is that it's very creative energy. If you really can go deep within, and if you were, say, like a science fiction writer, I think of like Ursula Le Guin, you know, this is the time to write that science fiction. Or Lewis Carroll probably wrote Alice in Wonderland during a Neptune in Pisces retrograde. Who knows? But it's a very mystical, you know, drink this cup of tea and everything will look different kind of energy. And that's going to be going on for quite a while too. So it's just not a good time to make big life decisions. Once again, I'll say just make tiny baby step changes that start within, not without. Maybe don't sign a contract. Oh my gosh, there's just some gorgeous birds I'm surrounded by. If you see me darting around, it's because we're in this beautiful lake setting and all the birds are waking up at sunrise. And I see with these 5 planets retrograde, there could be a lot of problems happening this summer in all kinds of areas like banking and credit card hacking and even more hacking to come, and some supply chain issues which we're already seeing, and I think they're going to get only even worse as the summer continues. So this would be a good time to just have some non-perishable foods in your cupboard. Maybe have some cash on hand just in case. I'm not, you know, a total prepper, but this would be the summer to just be secure with a few of those things, and with your computer, just back everything up. I'm writing a book right now and I feel so crazy. I want to just print it as I go along because I'm just not trusting all these retrogrades, and anything really important on your computer, put it on the hard drive, back it up and back it up again, because things are going to get crazy. And then, of course, we've been talking about this all year, but here it comes. June 14th, Saturn square Uranus direct. And again, I was saying it was like Saturn and Uranus are in a boxing ring, and now they're going to come fists out, and the bell has rung, and the fighting has begun. And Saturn, of course, is the ruler of laws, restrictions, mandates, you know, and Saturn rules time. And Uranus is like nature. It's just wild and free. And we are seeing in Oregon, there is a huge dam removal, probably the biggest dam removal in the entire United States history, in the Klamath Basin. And it's all tied up right now in bureaucratic paperwork, administration. I mean, just tear the thing down. But we might not see that dam come down until 2024, because Uranus wants the dam removed and Saturn is saying, well, we've got to talk about it. We've got to do legislation. And we see this right now in so many ways with our Earth and climate change. And there's just this really gorgeous sculpture that I think of all the time when I'm thinking about this, by a Spanish sculptor, and it's men discussing the future. It's just a bunch of politicians, and they're talking about what to do about climate change and global warming. And it's actually a fountain, because the water is filling up over their heads as they're still just talking about what we're going to do. And I will put a link to this sculpture. I can't think of the artist right now, but I'll put a link to it in the description. And Uranus is about lightning fast change. Uranus rules earthquakes, volcanoes, and Uranus could just give us a big wake-up call. Surprise! And Saturn will say, you got to fill out this form. Saturn is like, stand in line at the DMV and fill out this form. So it will be like wake-up call on one side and filling out a form on the other. And we are really seeing this as well in Oregon right now, because there is a plan to get all healers, light workers, and energy workers to be licensed. And that is a big controversy that also reminds me of this Saturn-Uranus squaring off, because the state of Oregon, they want the revenue, and they want to know that these people are doing no harm and that they have a license to be practicing and working on people. And the healers just want to be free. They just want to do chakra balancing and not have to be licensed in the state of Oregon. And that is another example of that Saturn-Uranus squaring off. And I don't know who will win that battle, but it is coming soon. And so anyways, how Saturn and Uranus can influence you is that you might have a lot of changes, and then the changes involve a lot of restrictions, regulations, and everything's gonna be slow. If you're trying to do something or accomplish something, trying to get a permit, maybe you wanna remodel your house or build something, just be patient this summer, because all of that regulation kind of permitting process is going to be slow as molasses for the summer. In fact, I would probably wait until July to even put in an application for anything that you need permitting for right now. And I pulled an I Ching stick for this total solar eclipse in Gemini, and the I Ching was number 18, Cool, which is repairing what is damaged. And it's all about weeding out. And this ties into this late spring going into summer season, when we've planted our seeds of intention, and in the garden some things are growing, and some of those intentions are not, some of those seeds are not popping up. But what is also popping up is a ton of weeds, and maybe grass, and little aphids, and all kinds of things you didn't want to manifest are showing up now. And so this is the time of weeding out. We've got to spend some time with what we intended and what showed up. And if there's anything that has showed up that you didn't want to manifest in your life, now is the time to clean those out, to make the room so that what you did intend and what you did, seeds you did plant, have the time and space and energy to grow into their fruition, so that we can harvest them come fall. And this is also an energy of just going back, just like the retrogrades, to fix anything that isn't working right now for you. And so we will really see with all these retrogrades lots of home repairs. I know we've had some appliances we've had to replace. A lot of people are doing renovations. And I'll say, you know, do it right the first time so you don't have to go back and do it again and again to get it right. But we will see, if you're renovating something, that there will be a lot of going back to redo and refix something maybe you already fixed, because that's just the energy. And this can also be a time to eliminate any corruption. And boy, we have our work cut out for us in that area. So we will see with the Saturn retrograde especially a going back to clear up corruption that might have happened. And we will be clearing, when we go back and we clean the garden and we clear up and fix things that are broken, we are just clearing away again for this new beginning, to allow in this new energy that is creating a new life. And we just have to get everything in order and repair whatever isn't working. And in the 9-star key, we are still going inward, which is funny because as we go into spring and summer, everyone wants to go out and everyone wants to break free. And we're seeing so many crowds where we live. We're in Bend, Oregon, where it's just the fastest growing town in America right now. And so everybody's going out. But the energy, the 9-star key, we are going into the 1-star, which is a water star that asks us to actually go within and to go and make internal changes. And the energy is actually slowing down at this time. So this June is still not a time to take outward action. This is still a time for even deeper internal inspiration and transformation that begins within. And can be a very creative time if you heed the call to go inward instead of outward. And then in July, we will have that fire star, the 9 star, and July will be a better time for going out into the world and making more external actions. And then in August, we will have the mountain star. And it's funny, I think of the fire star and the mountain star as like a fire on the mountain, and maybe that's coming and we'll explore it as we go along. But I'm nervous that we may have the worst wildfire season here in the West than we've ever seen before. And the 9-star key with going into fire and mountain, it almost sets the stage for fire on the mountain. I hope that's not true, but anyways, that's for a later report. That's July and August. Right now, we're just going into that water, praying for water. I've been praying for rain, doing the Hada Hada 40 days. And the beautiful thing about praying for rain and connecting with water, in Feng Shui, water is wealth. In the 5 element system, water brings abundance. And when you focus on the water, maybe even drinking a glass of water and just infusing abundance in the water as you drink it in, you will attract so much prosperity through focusing on water, praying for rain. I'll leave a connection with that meditation. But anyways, right now, I just want to do one last energy clearing before I sign off. We're going to start getting crowded here at the lake. And I forgot my pendulum, but I wanted to show you something you can do if you ever forget your pendulum, is you can just take your necklace off. You remember I was wearing this necklace a minute ago. And I just took it off to do a little energy clearing. So you could put a rock on a string and use it to do energy clearing. And I am going to send this all out to you. So just take a moment, if you can, to receive it. Maybe close your eyes and put your feet on the ground and feel the earth supporting you as I clear out anything you need to release. We all have so much we need to release from this lunar eclipse. I'm just taking some deep belly breaths. Maybe you just want to yawn. And yawning can be a sign of releasing. And I will infuse this video with Reiki and energy clearing and binaural beats to just help you as you begin anew with this Gemini eclipse, starting all over again. I wish you a very beautiful June, and subscribe so that you can learn more. I'm going to do a summer solstice reading as well, and that'll be my next one right before the Capricorn full moon on June 24th. Thank you and have a beautiful day.